Picture this, right? Me sitting in a booking cell. You know, they're gassing them and shit. It was a pretty serious. Then I took my tray and I was like, oh, I realized what I did. And I was like, I'm going to the hole already, right? So I took my tray and I smacked him in the face. Welcome back to the W Number, guys. Tonight, I got a story that literally changed my life. Now, I'm not going to say that it was this great story that was like this magical change and everything was so cozy and great. Nah, it got real dark. It got real fucked up, right? I was locked up. I was in jail, in county jail, in Dartmouth County House of Corrections, where they treat you terrible nonetheless, right? I was still, you know, in jail wherever you are across America, but this jail of all jails, right? It reminds you something about that gym that you've seen in the California jails. It's something like I went to. That's the same type of gym that I was in. It's a lot different when it comes to the politics of this gym. So we'll get to that, right? But let me just say it's a little different, but just the same potential for extreme violence. Let's get into this. Before we even start, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Also, if you want to join the W Number and become a shield warrior, join the ranks of those who have already paid the $2.99 subscription a month. There's levels to it, and I do fulfill those obligations. Without further ado, let me get into the story, right? So I'm going to spare you the build up. I'm going to tell you the story starting from the time I was in booking. And I'm going to tell you the sorry mess of a person and what happened to me, like why I was the way I was in booking. So I'm picture this, right? Me sitting in a booking cell and I'm sitting there. I haven't taken my methadone for over a day. So I'm kind of like, I'm on edge already from that, not feeling too hot. I had just gone through a messy thing with the relationship. I had relapsed and I had basically, you know, I thought I ruined my life and I was looking at a life sentence and I was not thinking great thoughts. I was in there. I was very pissed off. I thought that it just things would only get worse in my life. I've never seen anything get better. And every time someone says that to me, it's going to get better. Trust me, it always gets better. And it's like throughout my life, it has always got worse. And I have just like, I didn't know why. And it's just like, you know, the only thing that I could think of is I'm the common denominator, right? I have flaws and I got to fix these flaws somehow, dude. I don't know how to fix them because no one's pointing them out to me, but I got to figure that out, right? That's for a later date, right? So I'm sitting in this booking cell and I go in through a booking process. I'm sick. They put me in a gym. I'm walking through the hallway before I even get to the gym. I don't even know I'm going to this gym really, other than the people that are with me are talking about it, saying that like, I hope I get a bed over here or over there. And I'm like, you know, man, I'm just going in there and I'm trying to like mind my own business because I had already been through this shit a million times. I feel like I thought I had been able to leave this behind, but you know, and this is not to downgrade my relapse. I didn't relapse like a full-fledged relapse, but I was buckling down into it and I was spiraling and I could tell. So like I caught myself and I tried to fix it, but you know, nonetheless, I'm still here. And so, I get to this dorm. I walk in and it's a huge gym. There's a CO's desk to the left and just lines of bunks throughout the gym. It's loud as hell. As soon as you walk through, they're like, duh, Tim, right? You know, this is what all these young kids think is funny. The whole groups of fish that come through the door, they all yell, duh, Tim, get him. Yeah, that's the guy right there. And, you know, they look for the scared little ones that come through the door. They're like, who, me? And I think it's just super immature, bro, right? Like, I hadn't dealt with nothing like that. I've been upstate for so long. I just dealing with it again. I was just like, damn, man, these young county kids, like it gets old, man. But anyways, right. You come in and so they're telling you where to go to get your bunk and stuff like that. They tell me I got like this bunk all the way down here. I go down there and my bunkmate is like this old Cuban guy. He looks like he's white. And he tells me he was like this, dudes that knew him from the streets knew him like he was this big time, like he sold keys, like he sold weight. And they had caught him with, allegedly caught his worker or something like that with a couple keys or something and a bunch of money. And he had been moving his shit for a while, but he had so much money, like he had bailed himself out for 100 racks or something like that. The gist was that he got caught with the money. The other stuff wasn't tied to him directly, and he got bail. So he had money stashed. He needed that money. His girl brought the money to the jail, but it was like a week later. And during that time, I got to know the man. He talked Cuban, or Spanish, I should say. Like, so one day, right, I'm on my bunk and I'm sleeping, and I'm trying to like mind my business and just do my own thing. And I wake up and there's like 4 or 5 people standing around my bunk, and they're all talking in Spanish. I'm like, hold up, bro, right? I sit up and I said, I know dudes ain't just standing around my bunk, hanging around and talking, all chilling while I'm sleeping mad loud like this right here now. Right? I almost lost my damn mind. I got out of bed. I got on my shoes. I said, yo, someone stand here and start yapping right now. I was like freaking the fuck out. Everybody just looked at me like I was so mad, bro, right? I'm like, these kids have no respect for like the rules of prison sometimes in there, right? Now you got the old timers that they do, and maybe they've been in prison in other countries, because in Dartmouth you got a lot of dudes that were from like, Cuba or Puerto Rico and shit like that. And they come over here for the first time and get locked up a week after they get here. And they're just, you got all kinds of people in there, and they pack all these kids in the gym. Now, the way I looked at it was like it was a mix between juvenile detention, detox, and an insane asylum, right? So during the night at like 3 a.m, you can expect to hear people giggling and laughing and hanging out on their bunks, like 4 deep, just chilling, giggling and laughing and shit, right? Going into the bathroom late at night, smoking or whatever, or doing their little, whatever they're doing, the drugs, whatever comes through, then going back to their bunks and giggling and laughing and shit. And people will yell and laugh and just everything's all funny and games, blah, 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 in the middle of the fucking night. So I sometimes I'd get mad and I'd be like, yo, bro, can you please keep your voice down? Like, it is the middle of the night. And they would give me that respect for a couple of minutes. It would die down around the bunk and give it like a half an hour, and it'll start climbing again. Hopefully I'll already be asleep. But that shit was sucked, bro. And it was pressure, because now I'm not sleeping good at nighttime because I got people moving around me. I made it a rule not to walk between my little bed things, because it's like, what the fuck, it's too close, bro. Like, there's aisles for a reason. And like, it's the same deal with walking through, because like, you never know who's who and who comes in the middle of the night. And like, what if it's somebody I know and they're walking and I just hook off because I don't think you look like this dude. Like, I don't want the issue. Just don't walk between my bunks, bro. Please. And it's just like, you have to teach the younger crowd how to move in prison, because they don't even understand the reason why they need to respect it is because they could die. They don't understand that yet. Like, the violence, the magnitude of violence that'll be brought to them once they get sentenced and run up the way. Like, it's not going to be a couple of guys jumping you and not even none of you have marks on them. Like, if I beat you up, you're going to be busted. You might go to the hospital and you might come back with permanent scars. Like, it's not a game. And people, I've learned to use my hands like this type of weapon my entire life. It has been a thing since I was 11 years old. I've been throwing punches in the mirror and learning how to use my hands as a weapon, because I always had this weird thing about fighting and things, because it's always been an aggressive world, seems like to me. I've always hung out with older people who always want to fight, and in my area it was a lot of like that. It was like we were like almost hillbilly type. We live in the woods kind of, and that's what we did. We partied, fight, drank beer, and partied, and we hung out. That was it. We had fun. We had hot ass girls in our area. It was great. How that covers over into prison is that I'm a tough dude. I can fight, bro. That's one thing I can do. And even with knives and things like that, we've had those too. We have knife fights too, bro. Like, it ain't like we don't do this down there. Like, we have the same instincts as everybody else. We just lived in the sticks. That's what we used. So it's like, yeah, we use that too here in prison. And so it's kind of in my realm. You know, a lot of city kids, they're all into the guns and shit. And yeah, we had those too, but I didn't really use guns growing up or throughout my life, really. You know, I've had them here and there, but like, I don't like guns. I don't, you know, I don't want them around me if I don't have to have them around me. I think that's something for a necessity. And if you need it, whatever. But it's like, so we're in the gym one day, right? I hear now a lot of kids used to yell stupid things. And this kid, he was walking, they called him into the caseworker's office, and right? Somebody yelled, yeah, fuck that. I don't want that caseworker's office. She's a bitch, right? And so the dude looks around like, who the fuck just yelled that? Like they're called in his name. And now this dude, again, he's like, fuck that, you fucking bitch. And the kid understandably gets mad. He's like, yeah, fuck you, you fucking bitch. And then boom, the dude who said it was actually like, I guess he was like a really tough kid, right? He goes over to the dude. Now, the dude who said it, so the dude whose visit it was a white dude. He's the one who yelled back at that dude because he said that stupid shit, but he didn't know who was saying it. I guess they might have known each other a little bit. And then the dude walks right up to him and catches him, starts drilling him, bro, right? The white dude's fighting back, though, you know what I mean? He's trying to give it back, but he's getting drilled, you know? Like, the kid's giving it to him tough, you know, like, but, you know, the white dude's not going down at all, bro. And he's a warrior, bro. He's really trying to get that with him, bro. But he just can't get his feet. He can't get his hands, and he's losing, and he's getting drilled. And he can't get his shit together. You know, he lost that fight big time. He got fucked up, and it was a good fight. Like, they kind of went back and forth a little all over the place. And then they came in. They grabbed them both, maced them, took them out of there. And that's the type of shit that happens, though, and that people don't realize is like when you mess around and play and say stupid shit, even if you're the victim, you still can get fucked up, bro. Like, you gotta be on point in prison. The point is that it doesn't matter who you are, what you did, why you're there. If you had said something or if you didn't say something stupid like that, like yelling out there, like, it doesn't matter if you yelled that or not. It doesn't matter if you're in there being a solid convict or not. You don't know what you're going to run into. You must be prepared at all times. So always stay in shape, always work out. And that's also a mental thing. It keeps your mind focused so that you don't focus so much on your time that you become in a cycle of depression and then inactivity. So during my time in that gym, I felt like I was so depressed at one period. I didn't work out. I went in there and I slept for 3 weeks. Didn't call the girl that I thought was like my only girl that I could ever be with in my life. I loved her so much. She was everything to me, blah, blah, blah. I didn't call her for 3 weeks for some reason that in my head, I thought, you know, maybe I hurt her or something like that. So I didn't call her for 3 weeks thinking she didn't want to talk to me. And, you know, after that, it's kind of never the same. So things ended up going downhill after that, but it broke my heart. Long story short, I was in prison with a massively broken heart. Like, it was draining. It hurt so bad. I couldn't do anything about it. And you know, when your girls out there it just sucked, bro. And I'm sitting, not only that, but I ended up in segregation. And I'll tell you why. The gym grades on my nerves so bad, right? I'm going up for bologna one day. Now, we're all in line. When those chow lines come through, they have those cops in there. Those cops in there will say any old thing to you, any old crazy way, right? They don't care because it's like, this, you know, that county's not the same as it used to be. Let's just say that county was serious, bro. I was there back in the day. That shit was serious. You had real convicts there that would fuck shit up, bro. They would tear that prison to pieces if they treated us that way. And just a month before that, a lot of those guys ended up in a gym together off to the side of us. A unit together off to the side of us and rioted and destroyed that camp. I'm going to play you a clip for you right here. Look at this, dude. They ripped it. You can see all the cops standing outside of the windows and the smoke coming out and the spraying, you know, they're gassing them and shit. It was a pretty serious riot, and I think it took over 2 units. They destroyed a bunch of doors. People had, overdosed soon before that, and then like there was all kinds of shit with it, right? So they were worried about people overdosing in there, and they were trying to get, it was crazy, right? They were lining up for chow, though, right? I got a little off track, but you know, that's necessary stuff when it comes to this prison, right? And this is what you got to know about it, is that it's really hard to live there, and it grades on your nerves terribly, right? So we're all lining up for chow, right? And I'm in line, I'm waiting. I get my tray, And I go over, and now there's a second line for extras. And I see there's like maybe 10 people at it. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's bologna, which is the dirtiest, nastiest meal you could possibly get. Sucks. There's not much food there, but my stomach's literally touching my back because I'm going to explain another thing about this gym. They starve you to death in that place. And if you first come in and you don't got money on the books right away, like I wasn't even reaching out. I was so depressed. I didn't care. So no, I didn't really even think about putting money on my thing or looking to see if there was money on there, which there actually was. You know, people did send it, but I just didn't even know. I didn't eat nothing but the trays they gave us. And it was so like, oh, no food there, right? So I would wait for the extras and you go into this extra line and there's people there. You got to wait in line, right? So I get to the thing. I'm the next person up. Now, you have to deal with people attempting to cut and shit. And the morning before this happened, right, this kid cut me in line and got the last tray. So I made him give me the tray, right? I said, no. That's my tray, bro. And I took the fucking tray and split it in half with him because, I said here, because I was being a nice person. And it wasn't really his fault, but that was my tray. So I split it in half, and I was already not liking the situation a lot. It was really starting to irk my nerves that people had no respect, right? This kid kept on cutting in front of me the whole time I was waiting, and I kept on telling him, like, yo, you know better than that, bro. You know better. Come on, bro. Be a decent convict. Come on, right? We're all in here together, dude, right? So I get there, and this dude that's serving the trays tells me, yo, hold the fuck up, bro. Hold the fuck up. And I said, excuse me, bro? And he said, yo, back the fuck up. And he's holding a tray in his hand like this, and he's got his arm out like this to keep me back. I looked at him, and I was just in shock at the moment until he tried to reach the tray over my head to give it to the person behind me. And I was like, oh, yo, I smacked this motherfucker so hard, bro. He's like, oh. And then I took my tray, and I was like, oh, I realized what I did. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the hole already, right? So I took my tray, and I smacked him in the face with the tray. You got the little 3-bean salad flying everywhere, dude. And I'm smacking him with the tray, dude. We get on the ground. I'm fucking beating his ass, dude, right? And his boy's like, yo, I'm gonna get you, dog, bro. That's fucked up, bro. He's like, yeah, do it, bro. Like, what are you waiting for? I was so, when they put me in the hole, I'm like, okay, cool. I am alone. Right? Finally alone. So I'm in the hole now. I'm in a single cell, but there's a double bunk in there, and there's other people doubled up in this hole. And now this is ADSEG right before you go to full-on solitary confinement boat bed EE in Dartmouth County. Everybody's been there, knows about this place, bro. Shithole, right? Straight shithole. And with the food portions, it's tough unless you have canteen. So I'm waiting in this ADSEG hole thinking, I get a little breath of air, fresh air. I'm chilling. And this kid comes in. He's a gang member. I'm like, okay, whatever. I hear people chattering on the tier. He must have came in for a fight or something. And they open my door and put him in there. I'm laying in bed. I come out of bed when he gets in there. I'm like, yo. I'm like, what's up, bro? Now, they don't usually, I've never been in a prison that mixes other races and especially like gang affiliated. Like, he was probably racist. Honestly, I'm not even I'm not, right? But the fact that he's in a gang, I'm not sleeping in the cell with a gang member that I don't know at all, bro. Like, I'm just not, right? And it's like, even nobody would do that. No other convict, like no other black dude would do that, because they know, like, you break that policy, like, it's just not what you do, bro. Even he should have known when he got to the door, like, no, we don't do that. Like, this is not how you do it. You shouldn't automatically expect that you're just gonna walk into any old cell with anybody who's in there. What kind of shit is that? So this dude, and now maybe I'm expecting way too much from him, but I get what I need, because if not, this is what happens. Because if I can't, it's like I end up getting in fights over stupid shit. So why he ends up telling the cop, like, yo, I'm not staying in here, bro. I gotta leave. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now this is going good. Then he's like, before something stupid happens, this dude, bro. And I said, what? I hit him with a left hook, knocked him out, beat him up. Then they take us out of there and put me in the real hole. And I'm in there, and I'm like, oh, finally, I'm in peace and quiet, right? Well, I'm sitting in there, and I'm reflecting on all these things I did in my life and where it's ended me up. And I'm thinking, this is how the only way, because I was truly losing my mind with everything that was going on in my life. and all that noise in the like all the crazy things that were happening in the gym. It wasn't just one thing. It was like the not sleeping, the guards just treating you so bad. Like they talk down to you so badly, bro. Like you're just a dog and you need to do what they say, obey me. Like they could tell you any old thing, throw anything you own away, take any food when you're starving and throw it in the trash, no damn reason, right? Just making a mess or something. I don't know. It's not bothering anybody, put where I put it. But it's like, you know what, dude, that type of stuff right there, it makes me, it just all adds up, right? At the end of the day, it's like you go to sleep if you can, but they're screaming and yelling all night. And you wouldn't believe how stressful that is, bro. Right? Like when you can't sleep because people are screaming and you're going to rip your fucking hair out. And then all this stuff around you starts happening. And it's like, oh, you get into a couple fights. It's like they cannot blame you almost. I feel like they really shouldn't even be able to blame you when they put you in all these situations that are so not conducive any normalcy of human behavior whatsoever. Like some of those kids that lived in there really did live there for a while and chose to live there because they liked it. They were like little kids. Like they enjoyed being in that. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to be in a regular prison atmosphere where I could be in my cell. And even if I did have a cellmate, we'd be coming out of our cells and we'd have rec time. But preferably, I like to be alone. I did 10 years in segregation. I have severe mental illnesses when it comes to that because of, the built-in things that have, traumatized me throughout my time. And so that's nothing to be taken lightly either. You can't push my triggers and think like I don't have automatic reactions because I've plenty of automatic reactions that I am working on so hard. Like I haven't gave into any of them in a long time. I haven't reacted violently in a long, long time, but I did then because I didn't know how to deal with it. But this isn't that long ago, I guess. This is only like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago because of everything that's changed since. I go to the hole. I'm there for about 30 days. And during that time down there, it was almost enlightening to me. I had gone through that with the girl. I had been started to talk to her again, but like, she had started to show some really like saying some really things that made me believe she loved me. And maybe I honestly truly believe she did love me. Like she did. It just, we weren't meant for each other. Like our attitudes didn't completely match and we argued and we fought and we broke up a lot, right? We were toxic for each other. The phone was a big thing for me down there. That's why I'm telling you this, is just because I'm trying to give you a glimpse of where I was thinking in the hole so that you could really relive this with me and see how I changed. You know what I mean? The really like the unfolding of the change. Like, so I'm trying to get the phone so I could talk to her. I had not talked to her, like I said, for those 3 weeks. And so when I started talking to her again, it was with new passion. And same thing with her. It was like I almost made her love me more. Like that little bit of time that we took apart made us appreciate each other more. And we were saying like we were being kind to each other. And, it was good because I needed it to get through that little bit of whole time. And I shout out to her for that. She rocked with me for that little jail bit, even though she didn't send me no money or nothing like that, which kind of fucking hurt my feelings. But I had money. So I didn't go without. I had other people too, and other family and other friends. But, it's still, having that person that you care about with you, it means a lot, bro. And especially in the box when you have nothing all day. And in that hole, they leave the fans pumping hard. And you can't hear anybody talking on the tier. So it's like you have cotton in your ears. So it's like full isolation, it feels like to me. Like that was the most isolated I felt my whole life for 30 days. I sat there and it was punishment in my mind, right? That was enough punishment for all the crimes I committed. I was so distraught with myself, thinking that I was going to go to court, go to get a life sentence, and everything was just going to be so bad. And they sent me after 30 days. They said, "Why don't you get out of here, bro?" I wasn't even showering for most weeks. Like I was just didn't care. I didn't shower. I didn't even care. Didn't clean my cell. Didn't give a fuck. Right? I ate, throw the food, blah blah. All the COs loved me a lot. Some of them knew me from the state, whatever. Like they didn't dislike me, and they could tell like I was going through some shit, and that's why I ended up reacting the way I did to all these stressors that were going towards me. Why I got into these fights and stuff. I think they respected that I was going through that. So they put me in a block that was like the maximum security block of this whole camp. Now I had words when I was in the box with these kids that were in a gang that flooded that block, right? So when I went over there, I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna have smoke with these dudes. And so I went over there thinking maybe I'm gonna get into a fight with these dudes, but whatever. I'm not gonna tell them, the administration, like, yo, I got problems with these guys, blah, blah, blah. But when I went over there, I ended up seeing one of them, and he came in, he's like, yo, you remember me? And now I didn't even see the kid's face like that, right? I went out to the cages with them one time. I seen his face, but he didn't look familiar to me. So I didn't recognize him, right? Like we were in the hole. He looked different somehow. I don't know. So I'm like, no, I don't remember who you. And, then after he had walked away and I'm like talking and his homie, right? So when he's saying, you remember me, it looked like he kind of was getting aggressive. And I'm in my boy Ronnie's cell eating my dinner. And now my boy Ronnie, shout out to Ronnie Canberra, forever, I love you, bro. So we were in the cell eating. This kid comes in, he's like, yo, you remember me? I'm like, nah. He's like, you don't remember me, bro? I'm like, nah, bro. And he's like, I'm like, why? Should I, bro? Is this something like, what's up? And he's like, oh man, he's like, I thought you remember me, bro. And he walked out like on some weeks. I'm like, yo, what the fuck just happened, right? Now I'd never seen this kid before in my life, I'm thinking, right? So his superior, this kid was a Crip now, and I didn't even know this is the kid that I had the words with, one of the kids, right? And the words was stupid, bro. These kids were banging on the thing, thinking that somebody else was in the cell that I was in because that guy went home or something. They're banging on the walls like little kids. So I fucking told them, like, yo, straight up, like, this is what the deal is, bro. And they didn't like that. So now we're down there in the block, and he's like, you remember me? So then his superior goes up to him because his superior knows me well. We were in the max together for a while and everything. And he's like, yo, bro, he went in there, and I don't know, I'm not going to say exactly what happened because we're all locals. And so, like, I don't want to put dude's business out there, but let's just say he fixed the situation with a clap. You know what I mean? So, and the kid came back all respectful, like, I don't want to promise this. That's a good thing you said that, because if you didn't, then we were going to fight. But it's okay, because now that you don't want any problems, I don't want any problems either, bro. Shake your hand on it. And now I'm already in my mind, I'm waiting to go back to court to find out if I'm going to get a life sentence. So I don't care. Things weighing on me heavy. I had already went to court once, and they said they had no choice but to give me the life sentence. That's how they left it. And I'm like, right. I don't know. They obviously maybe we're doing it to scare me, but shit, it worked. Right. I'm in my cell, and I must be like a couple weeks after I was in HB, and I started to sit there and I was praying. I was just like, you know what, Gon? Like, I had not prayed for a long time, dude, right? Not in any type of way. But for something, I was just like, I need you. I got on my knees, and I'm like, God, I don't want to go to prison for life. I don't want to spend the rest of my life like this ever. Never. Not in a million years. And I was getting emotional. I was begging, man. God, I was begging God. Come into my life. Save me, bro. Like, why not me? What's different about me that makes me not worthy of the same things that other people got? Like, I try to be a good person, let alone the fact that I do lose my temper. Mostly I've been behind the wall that I've done this, but I don't like this life. I don't like hurting people. I don't want none of it. God, please change me. I need you. And I said before, like, yeah, maybe it wasn't a magical experience, but it was magical to me, bro, because when I prayed for it, bro, it was like when I prayed that day, bro, and you could call me a liar. You could say anything you fucking want, because it doesn't matter, because I know, bro. I know what I went through. I know what I did. I know what I felt, what it was like in my bones different. Like, I felt myself changing. Like, I had legitimate rocks around my heart and my eyes, and I couldn't even feel or see. And like, something happened to me, and I was able to like feel all these weird feelings and like understand my life in a little different type of way. Almost like it was the fucking oddest experience, but the verifying one in the way of like my actual belief and faith that Jesus Christ is real and definitely exists. Because that doesn't happen without that. It doesn't happen without it. I was so different. I hated everything. There was no hope. And then there was just nothing but hope. So it's different for me. And it's hard for me to even talk about because the feeling was so strong and so different that when it happened, it was like, like a smack in the face, a punch in the gut, and a fucking elephant knee in the butthole. Like, all at the same fucking time. I don't understand it as much as anybody else probably wouldn't, and maybe doesn't believe it. I don't care. Like I said, this is something that happened to me, and I'm grateful to this day because it never went back. It never reversed itself. I've not gone back to thinking about violence or hurting people. I've not gone back to thinking about using drugs. Like, I don't even think about drugs. And if I do, it's because I'm going through something and I know I will never break and do it because I still have faith. I still have God. That happens to me, right? I'm in the cell and I start feeling different. Like I said, I was lighter and everything, like on my feet. I felt different. I felt hope. Now it's something different. Like there's no way. There's no way I'm going to spend my life in prison. I can't. It's not going to happen. It's not in the cards for me. I knew something was going to happen for me. I had to have faith that it would happen. Like I truly had to believe that for it to be real, like they said in the Bible, because that's what I was doing. I was reading the Bible. I was listening to all the Christian podcasts. I was trying to, just like soak in God in all kinds of ways. And I did. I soaked them up, bro. Started understanding the wisdom behind it. It has changed me as a person. It's changed me as a person. Changed me characteristically and as a person. It's made me better in so many ways. I think about virtue in a whole new light. And I just want to fulfill some type of positive role in this world. But I started working out. I started eating the foods I wanted to eat to like be healthy again. Like I started feeling the depression lift. I stopped sleeping all day, every day. I started getting on the phone again and trying to call and figure out things going on in my case and get me out of there to try to figure out if I could find a program that I could offer to the court and tell them, look, let me try this rehab program before you take my life away. It's something else first, it's something else first. This is just can't be the first solution to everything, right? And they did. When I went back to court, I walked in there. I was so nervous. I didn't believe it. I started losing faith. I started talking them negative roles in my head. So telling myself, I'm going to get a life sentence and they're going to do it. They're going to fucking take my life and I'm not good enough. Like there's never anything good ever happened for me. And so they're going to do it. And it was it. But they didn't do it. I walked in there and the judge was like, upon further consideration of your case, I think that would be a detriment because you've been doing good for over almost a year now. You haven't gone high for a year. You're working, and you went to the thing yourself, whatever. So I'm gonna give you a chance, though I'm not supposed to. He's like, I'm not supposed to. When you violate your probation under an open probation on a home invasion, which carries 20 to life in prison, you're supposed to get that 20 to life because that's the only thing left open. There's lesser charges, which they can charge me and sentence me to any of those lesser charges and give me much less time. But what they choose to look at is that heavy charge. And they will. If they have that opportunity, they will. And I don't want to give them that opportunity. I'm trying to live my life righteously and not just say that. I'm not doing anything. I don't want to spend my life in prison because it is a hell beyond anything I'm willing to, or anything that I want to go through again. But I know that it's always there. The option is always there. And if I fuck up, it's always that possibility that it's going to happen because I don't get away with shit anymore. I'm on probation. There's too many people around that'll be like, nah, fuck that. Like I'm held accountable. My girl wouldn't want me doing anything bad. My mother wouldn't allow me doing anything bad. My whole community on here wouldn't want me doing anything bad. I built support around me and you can do the same damn thing. I got people out in the community like mathematics. I got people everywhere doing the right thing. Man, I know everybody out there is chilling right now, just thinking like what I'm saying is some real shit, bro, right? So I go to court. I end up getting a chance at a program. I go back to the jail and I have to wait. So now it's on God to get me to the right program. And he does. Well, I get to this program that took me away from that whole situation. And it was within 3 months. And it didn't take long to get there. You know, it pretty much got me there in the Hope House in Roxbury. They did justice for me, and they could do justice for you if you need the help. I think that anybody who needs it should go through treatment, even though at this point I was already past any type of drug. I feel like dependency at that point. I didn't take any medications. I had take myself off every medication. I'm not on any psychiatric medications, anything else. I only methadone, and even that I'm coming off of now. But I thought, you know, and this is only since I've gotten my relationship with God, and only with him could this happen, because I have been very happy to be on medication my whole life. I thought that was the blessing. But the blessing is being able to feel good with you without that medication. And that feels so much better to me. So much better. But I appreciate everybody who showed up, man. Recovery is possible. Success is possible. Prison is not the way to go. And as you see with every county jail, man, even when I was leaving to go to that Hope House, when I was walking out the doors, bro, through booking to leave, to get on the paddy wagon, get handcuffed and shackled, and driven to a program like Hannibal Lecter, walk out all chained and shackled to the free world, into a free world place, get unchained and shackled in the lobby in front of everybody, and with no shoes on, because the CO, one of the COs that worked there, stole a pair of retro 4 Jordans that were all cream from me. And he must have saw them and took them. Said that they weren't on my books. And I freaked the fuck out and I probably would have got put, like, I had to really restrain myself. I said, your mama's a bitch, right? I was fucking pissed. I was going off at all of them. I said, what the fuck are you going to do? They didn't want no problems. But at the end of the day, they got my sneakers and I left like a chump. But you know what? I'm not a chump. Who's the real chumps? They can have those sneakers. I'm going to live my best life. And I hope everybody here listening can understand these words. That's pain. That's pain and nothing else. The growth comes with pain as an undercurrent in prison. You don't get growth and success in prison that is so fulfilling as you will get out here, right? It's always an undercurrent of pain and violence in prison. Why live that life, bro? Figure it out. W number. Ow.